Thomas Massie, one of few Republicans that are actually trying to get to the bottom of this Jeffrey Epstein thing, despite the fact that Donald Trump doesn't want to get to the bottom of this Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Is it that Republicans fear Trump so much, but they agree with you privately? How they just talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. I don't think my colleagues are happy about covering up for pedophiles, but that's what's happening. And it's so sick and twisted. The reason they're doing it is because they're terrified of President Trump's political machine. Not just his legislative affairs folks are reaching out from the White House to every Republican member of Congress who might think about co-sponsoring this. They're getting calls from the political machine that Donald Trump runs. We've got members of Congress who have aspirations of running for statewide office, and they can't win a statewide office in a Republican primary with Donald Trump on the other side. So they're terrified of him. With three big exceptions, 3 women have co-sponsored this resolution: Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace.
Why aren't they terrified of President
I
Trump?
think, number one, because they're women, they feel obligated to take up for the women who've been abused.
Thomas Massie described a suppression of rights and principles from these folks who are elected officials because they have aspirations for growth and political expediency in their own right. This is not a democracy, is what he just described. These are a bunch of people who are kowtowing to a dictator because that's the only way they're going to get political power. Despite the fact that Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book has finally been given to from the Jeffrey Epstein estate to the House Oversight Committee that's been asking for it. And wow, here's that picture that Donald Trump and them said doesn't exist. The outline drawing of a woman with this weird, poetic, creepy, nasty message between him and Jeffrey Epstein and all the secrets that they hold, with this scrabble signature at the bottom where he would imagine a woman's pubic hairs would be. This is what Trump said at the time. I'm just gonna give you guys a full laydown of what is there where he started and then where the excuses now are. This is maddening stuff. Here's Donald Trump when that Wall Street Journal article first came out talking about the birthday book.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings. Sometimes people would say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women. And also, Epstein was always a very controversial guy. I was at a very high position, pretty much all my life. In all fairness, I've been doing this for a long time. I had the top show on television. I had the #1 bestsellers. I had everything, right? And I was a very successful business guy. He was a very controversial. Who would do a controversial drawing? Now, with that being said, they say there were many letters done by many people, and in many big people, big successful people. But I just don't. When you talk about files, I just keep going back, and other people too. Even the enemy says this thing is not correct, because if we had it, we would have used it on the guy. It's a bad issue. They say it's a good issue for Trump. Do you know that my poll numbers are up 4.5 points since this ridiculous Epstein stuff? My poll numbers have gone up 4.5 points because people don't buy it. Okay, people don't buy it. And he's gone, and we want to focus on trade deals. I want to focus on the deal we just made with the European Union, which is the biggest trade deal in history. It's the biggest deal, I think, in history, not just trade deal. So if they would have had something, they would have used it. Yeah.
Again, that's when the Wall Street Journal article first came out talking about this birthday book, which, by the way, it can't be used for all those bullshit excuses that he kept going with because it was at the Epstein estate. But I just want to point out the fact that he and J.D. Vance kept talking about how he does not have drawings. Even Eric Trump, his dumbass son, said the same thing. He doesn't have drawings. There's no such thing as drawings except for those drawings that we kept seeing.
I can tell you my father does not sketch out cartoon drawings. I mean, it's insane.
J.D. Vance said this at the time as well, too, because he figures, if he says it this way, people will start believing him. Forgive my language, but this story is complete and utter bullshit. The Wall Street Journal should be ashamed for publishing it. Where's this letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump? Yes. Yeah, we honestly believe it because we've heard Donald Trump talk about how he's a predator. We've had adjudicated cases about how Donald Trump is a predator, a rapist, actually. E. Jean Carroll won that case, as well as a monetary lawsuit that, again, he tried to have taken down just a couple days ago, and another court said, no, pay her the money, you rapist. But still, we shouldn't believe it because J.D. Vance's dumbass said that we shouldn't believe it. Everybody who denies it now, just know that they're either a pedophile or they support pedophiles. One of them is Representative Tim Burchett.
I mean, anybody can do a signature. We've seen the auto pen's been used quite a bit with the Biden administration. So I've never known Trump to be much of an artist either. So I kind of draw that into question.
There's a history of him drawing
The thing
stuff.
is, it's been there for 4 years, and now it's just come out. I just don't buy
So
it.
you think really someone might have just forged this somehow and sent this to the Epstein?
Somehow it's so easy to do. I just don't buy any of it right now because we have a prior administration that's had a history of dishonesty, and they bring something like this out now. Why wouldn't they bring it out during the campaign?
None of it makes any sense. Tim Burchett is either that stupid or he thinks people he's talking to are that stupid. It's probably both. So he said somehow they would have forged it with an auto pen. I want you guys to think about when this book was put together. In 2003, Jeffrey Epstein's birthday, 2003, and there's tons of submissions to it, which I'm going to get to as well, too. But they put this together in 2003. So somehow, in Tim Burchett's brain, that somehow means all these Democrats who weren't elected, or all of these political talkers who weren't elected, who weren't in their positions where they are now, they put together Donald Trump drawing a picture of a female form around a letter that they typed up and said it was him, so that then, in 2025, 22 years later, in his second term as president, once he's implementing fascist policies, that then this book that was held at Epstein's estate can then be submitted for this one story because they did it with an auto pen. And he brought up auto pen because that's the one-liner that they've been using against Joe Biden because his old ass. So that's the somehow that Tim Burchett wants you to believe, because he can't believe the other somehow of that Donald Trump, who was an admitted best friend of Jeffrey Epstein, who loved young women like Jeffrey Epstein does, who's an adjudicated rapist, who's an adjudicated sexual assaulter, who said he's going to date a 12-year-old in a few years. They won't believe that that guy would draw a picture and have a pedophile style poem at the bottom of it about secrets he's got with his best friend Jeffrey Epstein, to then be in a book that then got released after they said it didn't exist, because Joe Biden's administration has a history of being dishonest. Donald Trump has never told the truth once in his life. Who has a history of being dishonest? And why won't they take Trump's history of dishonesty and take it right to this story? Because they're all dishonest. Here's another one of them.
Don't you want to learn more about Trump's relationship or friendship with Epstein?
No, I want to have Director Patel in next week where we'll ask him about all kinds of things. I haven't seen it. Don't buy it.
Jim Jordan has no curiosity about it. He's going to have Director Patel come in, the guy who's helping him cover it up. Jim Jordan has no curiosity about Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and this now book being revealed, and he doesn't even want to look at it. You know why? Because Jim Jordan has also been accused of looking the other way when he was a wrestling coach up in Ohio, and his wrestler said, yo, there's this guy in here who's assaulting us. And he said, I don't want to see it. I've never known anything about that guy. All I know is that I'm okay with sexual assaulters, especially towards children. That's Jim Jordan. He has a history of this. Speaking back to Tim Burchett, talking about how someone has a history of dishonesty. Jim Jordan has a history of looking the other way when sexual assault happens. Here's another one of these dumb fucks. I told myself I wouldn't do it. Here's James Comer. It's appalling that Democrats on the Oversight Committee are cherry-picking documents and politicizing information received from the Epstein estate today. You notice he didn't point out some of that information or any of the documents that they've received from the Epstein estate. He won't even say birthday book. He won't even say what it is they received because he doesn't want anyone to look into what it is that he is cherry-picking to avoid. What has James Comer brought up? that is not cherry picked. I have a really good answer as to how you can avoid all the cherry picking those Democrats are politicizing this over. Is you can show us everything in it that actually wasn't cherry picked. What's the rest of it? Show me the rest of the cherries, bro. Show me all the leaves on the vine. Show me exactly what it is that's in this book that's been cherry picked but's been avoided. Give it to us, bro. You're like the chairman of this whole committee. Show us what's in it. But you know what? All he's got is a tweet saying it's been cherry picked. You know, if I've got a full document and I've got the power to do this, and other folks in my same committee have cherry picked all of it, I'd go, here it is. What? Look at their lies. Here's the rest of it. James Comer isn't doing that. Caroline Leavitt jumped on the train too. I'm sorry, the pedophile supporting train. She tweeted, the latest piece published by the Wall Street Journal proves, in all capitals, as long as she puts it in capitals, I guess it's truth, proves this entire birthday card story is false. As I've said all along, it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it. President Trump's legal team will continue to aggressively pursue litigation. Furthermore, the quote reporter who wrote this hatchet job reached out for comment at the exact same minute he published his story, giving us no time to respond. This is fake news to perpetuate the Democrat Epstein hoax. Maybe she's upset that he didn't give her a full day to come up with the next batch of lies and the next batch of trying to discredit him based off of the truth that they revealed. The best they've got is that the Wall Street Journal piece proves that Donald Trump didn't do any of this stuff. Hey, you know what I've got? I've got the Wall Street Journal piece that she said proves it. I read the whole thing. You won't be surprised to hear that none of it proves it. Here's a couple parts from that Wall Street Journal article that Caroline Leavitt said proves he didn't do it. On Monday, House Oversight Committee members confirmed that they received a copy of the birthday book, including the letter bearing Trump's signature, and a second letter that references Trump with a crude joke about a woman from another Epstein associate. The Wall Street Journal in July reported on the book and the letter bearing Trump's name, which contained typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman. The letter concluded, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." The signature was squiggly Donald below the waist, mimicking pubic hair. Wait, that first part didn't prove Caroline Leavitt's point. Maybe this part will prove Caroline Leavitt's point. Let's see. Trump has denied writing the letter or drawing the picture, calling it a fake thing. He also filed a lawsuit against the Journal's reporters, Journal publisher Dow Jones, parent company News Corp, and executives, alleging defamation and saying the letter was non-existent. Okay. A Dow Jones spokeswoman said, "We have full confidence in the rigor and accuracy of our reporting." Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, the liar that we're talking about right now, said in a social media post that Trump's legal team will continue to pursue its defamation case against the Journal. Quote, "As I've said all along, as I just told you guys, it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and did not sign it," is what Leavitt posted that I just read about. I'm still waiting for the part of this Wall Street Journal article that proves Caroline Leavitt's point. If you guys don't believe me, you think I've cherry picked the way that James Comer says that Democrats are cherry picking, you can read the whole article. It's it's in the Wall Street Journal. It's really easy to find. Here's the last part that disproves what Caroline Leavitt said proves. Lawyers for the co-executors of Epstein's estate turned over a copy of the birthday book on Monday in response to a subpoena from James Comer, the chair of the House Oversight Committee. In a July 25th letter to the Epstein estate's lawyers, Representative Robert Garcia and Representative Ro Khanna had pressed the estate to release the book. I'm still trying to figure out how this birthday book that the Wall Street Journal reported on in July had Donald Trump with this picture that we just saw, with exactly what they described it looking like and containing, how was somehow been proven to be a full lie, when at the time he said it didn't exist. What made it come out of thin air? Is this motherfucking David Copperfield? What magician type of shit is this? This guy should be out on the street in Las Vegas or something. No, he should have his own show. This guy can pull a birthday book out of his ass. James Comer, who said this has been cherry picked, was a part of the committee that subpoenaed this book. Why is James Comer, who's calling this a cherry picked pieces of evidence, somehow concoct an entire book out of thin air when it didn't exist? Remember earlier, JD Vance called it bullshit. Remember earlier he said that? This is what he's saying now that it's been proven that he's bullshitting. He said the Democrats don't care about Epstein. Oh, we're gotten here now. They don't even care about his victims. That's why they were silent about it for years. The only thing they care about is concocting another fake scandal like Russiagate to smear President Trump with lies. No one is falling for this BS. That last sentence is right, but it's about you. No one is falling for this BS. The people who are supporting you aren't falling for it. They're following along. Thomas Massie said that in the beginning. You guys are afraid of this old rickety pedophile. You're afraid of him. But I hope you keep your children from him. Just because you support it doesn't mean they should be victims as well. Still, the Democrats don't care about Epstein. That's weird. That's weird. Here's another post from that same guy. His name is JD Vance. This is in September of 2021, back when the Democrats didn't care. Remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to a guy who ran a literal child sex trafficking ring? And then that guy died mysteriously in jail. And now we just don't talk about it. It's kind of weird, isn't it? It's weird how JD Vance's evolution from saying that we should have done something about Jeffrey Epstein and that rich and powerful people are connected and all in it, then shifted on to this story about rich and powerful connected people being connected to Jeffrey Epstein because it's Donald Trump. It doesn't exist. Oh, now that it exists, Democrats didn't care about it. Except now JD Vance doesn't care about it. Do you know why he doesn't care about it? Because this guy has told many cameras that he doesn't care about it.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. Are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
For some reason, Democrats don't care. That's what the vice president of the United States said. For some reason, Democrats don't care. You know what else he said? He said Democrats don't even care about Epstein survivors.
As somebody who voted for this administration and for somebody who rode the coattail of the whole campaign being based on, hey, listen, we are going to resolve this by formally releasing all of the documentation that's been withheld, and we want answers too. You know, my party didn't show up for me. My party was a very big disappointment for me. Pretty much everybody in his administration said that this would be something, would be a priority, and that they would release the files. So I am extremely disappointed.
And JD Vance just told her and the rest of anyone else that supported these guys, Democrats don't care. And let's stop talking about this.